Welcome troops, it's me TheTacticalBrit, and I'm here today with a quick impressions video on the Battlefield 5 closed alpha. I was lucky enough to recently attend Stockholm and provide feedback on Battlefield 5 on various aspects of the game that I cannot talk about just yet, or probably will not ever be able to talk about. But upon returning home, the Battlefield 5 alpha had launched and I had received access to it. I'm presently streaming it more or less every day on both my public channels and the Battlefield channel, so feel free to check that out on Twitch and YouTube. But I wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of how I feel about it. Now, for an alpha, I've got to say things are very polished. I'm very surprised that optimization is as good as it is. I'm very surprised that some of the gunplay and core mechanics of the gameplay are as polished as they are. And all in all, I'm quite impressed with what I have seen. But I do have a few gripes with the game that I want to get out in the open. The first one is the HUD. I'm kind of noticing nowadays that there seems to be a lot of blending between the HUD and some of the color elements in the background, and it gets quite messy, some which are also massively over-blinding, like the medals and ribbons, but I believe the HUD UI team are very much aware of that and working on it already. But there are just some minor things like being able to choose whether or not you want to see the guns that have killed the person in a sort of PNG format, or whether you want to see the actual names of the weapons in the kill feed. I'd like that to be changed, or have the option to change it in my opinion, and I feel as though it's something that could be improved. The next thing is objectives. Now, objectives on the HUD are simply not clear enough. The actual bomb sites and flags are very clear, but the actual charges that you need to detonate on these bombs and the actual the sort of revive HUD elements and ammunition giving HUD elements really aren't clear enough. There have been times where I've had squad mates downed right next to me, and it hasn't been abundantly clear that they have been downed next to me. I couldn't see anything that indicated that they were on the floor. It's pretty regular for squad mates to run past me and just ignore me, as well as other medics, purely on the basis that some of the HUD elements aren't clear enough, and handing out things like ammunition pouches as well also isn't that clear, because, you know, I can't tell how much ammo people have. I can't tell whether they are low on ammo, I can't tell whether they need it, and the only times I can tell is when they request it and I have to spam Q. So I feel like that could do with some work. So the actual charges for objectives need to be more visible, the revive symbols definitely need to be more visible, and ammunition giving could certainly do with some brushing up as well. In terms of core gameplay and gun mechanics, I'm really liking everything I've seen so far. Sniper rifles seem actual skill based again. It's about getting headshots. There's no longer this weird sweet spot mechanic that seemed to basically give you one-shot kills all the time. The LMG seem balanced and fair, using the recoil mechanics and having to use your bipod. The STG-44 seems a touch powerful, but it definitely starts suffering once you get further out in ranges, and I really appreciate the fact that you actually have to switch fire mode in order to achieve long distance tagging with the STG-44. You can use burst fire, but it simply isn't as effective, as the initial recoil is pretty strong, so it actually makes more sense to press V, switch to single fire, and then use that instead, which actually increases the RPM of the weapon as well. Conquest seems very tight as well in terms of a game mode. The flag objectives and captures seem very clear. They seem like good objectives to have, and I haven't noticed any problems with that either. But the Conquest Assault mode I feel is slightly balanced more towards the offensive side, but I'm sure DICE will have the statistics for that. But I feel as though the people who are attacking seem to be doing a lot better than the defenders as it presently stands, and that's something that potentially could need looking at. Another thing I want them to improve is the grenade throwing animation. As it presently stands, it's still this sort of, you know, useless, seamless toss where you can throw it almost instantaneously. There's no skill involved in that, and simply, you know, there's a really frustrating case where people are just spamming their grenades away because it's as simple as tapping Q and then, you know, or G or whatever the key happens to be that you have it bound to, and then you can almost instantaneously fire the second you've thrown the grenade. It's no longer a sacrificial thing. People can throw grenades as fast as they can shoot, more or less, and people can actually just, you know, throw these things at you and then spam you with bullets, and most times out of 10 you'll die because you either have to run out of cover to avoid the grenade, or, you know, there's just simply nowhere to go and you will explode and die. I'd like the grenade animation to be significantly slower. This will mean it's more of a decision-based thing where you actually are risking pulling out this grenade and throwing it, and seeing as these things are lethal, you know, they have this lethal impact, they should be something that revolves a lot of skill around. I really do like the new medic animations. This is something that some people have been complaining about, but I feel as though the slow, methodical pace of the medic animations, making people think about when they're reviving, making them use smoke grenades to tactically revive people, and potentially in the future the body drag animation is something that I think is really badass, and I think it's something that definitely should stay. It could potentially do with slightly less time in some areas, such as the squad revive. I feel like that takes a hell of a long time. But ultimately, I feel like it's relatively balanced as it is. Now, here's the important part for me. Is it fun? And with considering the fact that this is one Grand Operation map, which only has 2 of the 4 available days, and 1 Conquest map, and a very limited arsenal of weapons, I've got to say I've had a hell of a time with Battlefield 5. I've been streaming this for nearly like 12 or 20 odd hours in total already, and I've got plenty more to do, and I've recorded a ton of footage as well. And I'm just enjoying it. I'm having so much fun with it in comparison to Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline that it's really blowing me out of the water. I love the attrition elements of limited ammunition. I love the squad pay elements. And I love the fact that the meta of the game is shifting. I'm seeing much more people reviving and handing out stuff to each other, handing out ammo, handing out health. And it's a really positive direction that the game is heading in. And I've got to say, this alpha has made me very hopeful for the future. So that's about it for my impressions today. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comment section below, or opinions that I may have, and feel free to just get a discussion going about the Battlefield 5 closed alpha. It's been me, the Tactical Brit, and make sure to tune into the Battlefield stream team on twitch.tv from 10 AM Pacific time to 6 PM Pacific time /7 every single day for a chance to win some Battlefield alpha codes. I'll see you guys in the next video.